Okay, so in this tutorial I'm gonna go over creating a fully rendered, meaning lights and shaders and colors and all of that, into a 360 turntable. Whereas in the project one it was a turntable but a play blast where there's no lighting or um, you know fully realized render, just a play blast. Whereas this time around it's going to be yet again a turntable camera animation, but like I said, with the lighting, shading, rendering fully realized. But before that, there's some steps to do to make sure that everything's okay. So here's the scene, and what I can do first is just to go under Windows, Workspace, reset General to factory default, press spacebar, so factory default. Then go to down here and just to make sure, frame rate 24 frames per second, playback start end 1 and 58, 1 and 58. Ultra important, playback speed 24 frames per second times 1. And then you could have it at all or active, but I'll just put it to all, continuous, all that stuff, and then hit save. Okay, after that, from there's a couple other things. Let me see. So I'm gonna zoom in here. This is the top view, and each of the assets, let's just pretend, right, should be where there's no data in the channel box, basically to freeze out the data. And I would save a backup ahead of time if you need to have history, but probably most likely don't. So you grab all of them, including if you have any models that are grouped, press F to zoom in, and then say, freeze transformations, delete history, and then you should be good. After that, you want to group them, Control G, and here under the top view with the group 1 selected, I'm going to just name it model group GRP, and then in say the top view, Control 1, just to see that I want to make sure pressing 4 for wireframe that the move gizmo is dead center to the 3D world, which it is. Okay, so that is set. No data in here, no data within each of the models. Then I'm gonna grab the lights that I had set up, and then also these I don't need to freeze transform. I'm just gonna Control G to group it, meaning the lights. I do not select the sky dome light, not necessary. Just area lights. Double click it, name it lights GRP, so that those two are set. And then after that, let me see what else. Make sure to have the cylindrical wall. And then after that, what I'm going to do is, in this view, I'm going to go to Panels, Perspective, New. So this is Perspective 1. This one, I want it to be Panels, Perspective, Perspective. Control 1 to So perspective 1, perspective. Okay, then I'm going to, in here, perspective 1, I'm going to click here, select the camera for perspective 1. I'm going to go click on this resolution gate mask as well. And for perspective 1, I'm going to double click it and name it as render cam. So that's the render cam. I'm going to just zero out everything for the render cam. And from there, I'm not going to move the render cam from within here. What I'm going to do is, here's the render cam, right? Render cam. Everything's been zeroed out. I'm going to pull it back, press R, scale it bigger, press W, pull it up, and pull it back. You kind of pick and choose, right? But make sure that your x-axis on the move does not have value, right? And then press E for Edward, which is rotate, and I'm gonna, let's say, would be in here or here. I'm just gonna rotate it down a bit, like so. Press W, and then pull it up, kind of balance it out, like that. So basically, translate X, no value. This is the render cam. Rotate X can have value, but rotate Y, rotate Z should have no value. So this, and this should have no value. Okay, and more or less I like that. And like I said before, make sure this is checked and checked. That way it captures exactly what needs to be rendered, right? After that, as you can see here, render cam, and this resolution size for the render cam. This leads me into going to the render settings, the clapper, the gearbox, render settings. And let's just review, starting off with the comment tab. Well, even before that, make sure this is Arnold Renderer, comment tab, and TIFF, LZW, format, INT16, and then this is by default should be use output transform if you have set to TIFF. And then here, ultra important, name dot number dot extension. Please do not forget this. Oh, I gotta backtrack a bit. And here you give the name of it, you know, for example, say your name, and then project 3, turntable, enter. So what this means is that you'll see it here, file name, and then you'll see over here like .0001 .tiff, tiff meaning this image format. 001 is just the padding in terms of sequences, so that they don't overlap numerically or get mixed up numerically. There's the frame padding. Alright, so again, down here, name.number.extension, name, right? TIFF, INT16, frame padding, this is default. I think it's set to 4 already. If not, make sure. Frame range 1 and 58. Renderable cameras. Ooh, gotta be careful on that. I'm gonna leave that alone for now. And then image size, HD 1080. Right. So that's all of that. All right, then let's just review again under Arnold Renderer. For this, you want to set it to probably like 7. It will increase the render times. It definitely will, but it will still be manageable. and then clamping, right? In case if you have some fancy lighting going on, clamp AA samples, check, and then 2 and 2, and then let me see, close that. Ray depth. This here, I just did a test render, but if you have like glass and metals and complicated stuff, like I mentioned, 16, and then 4 and 4. If you have, let's say, nothing super fancy like glass and refractive materials and liquid materials all together, then you could just do like 2 and 2, and this could be just 12. So this plus this equals that. Again, do this if you don't have fancy stuff like reflective and refractive materials. But if you do, you set to 4 and 4 and it's 16. Okay. So this will vary. Imagers, right? Make sure you have the denoiser on. Okay. If you don't see this, just make sure. And then here, system, right? Remember GPU. Set to GPU. Check this on. Make sure this is highlighted. Okay, check it on. Highlighted GPU. And then that's it. Because if I go here, set this to CPU, you don't want CPU, right? You don't want CPU, you want GPU. Check, highlight, and then you're good for that. Alright, then after that,